discretion is advised.
Hey everyone, this video is brought to you by Audible. Audible is offering you a free audiobook with a 30-day free trial membership. All you need to do is go to audibletrial.com/BGUnlocked. The link is in the description below, and now enjoy the video. Hey everyone, welcome to the discussion for Paladins of the West Kingdom. This is the discussion for the solo variant only. If you want to know what we all thought in a multiplayer game, definitely go check out that discussion and the run-through. I will admit though, the run-through is very, very slow. Like, we don't banter a lot because this game requires a lot of thinking and planning. Now, so I'm only going to be talking about what my thoughts are on the solo variant for this game. And I gotta say, this solo variant is actually pretty smooth. Like, it is very streamlined, very simple to learn, and very quick, which is funny because the amount of time it took to play this was the amount of time it also took to play a multiplayer game. So do with that what you will. I think that's actually pretty neat, because you're so engrossed in what you're doing, and everything that you're doing is still takes careful planning, and you don't really work around other players anyway. So in a multiplayer game, you're still focused on everything that you're doing. And the only indirect player interaction is someone might go to one of these king's spots, or might commission or garrison, one of those areas. But in all reality, this game, I think, is better as a solo variant game, which is weird. But I think it's for that very reason, because I don't interact with the other players enough to warrant playing with them, and the solo variant does such a good job of still placing stuff that it can still affect you. And there were multiple times throughout the run-through for the solo variant that it was like, okay, so where his resource track, which I think is such a simple, streamlined thing, he doesn't collect coins. You don't have to worry about, okay, what does he do with coins? If it's like this many, what does he do? He doesn't worry about provisions. Every time he gains one of those, he goes around this track. And it's like, but depending on where he is on this track, is what he interacts with the cards. So you can actually look over and be like, okay, if that, I really want to recruit that guy, or I really want to attack or convert that guy. Oh man, he's actually on that one. So do I want to risk it and not go for that and do some other stuff before, or do I want to go ahead and guarantee I'm going to get it? And you have to make those decisions, just like you would playing against another player. Like, you might be like, hey, they might attack, and that happened in the multiplayer run-through. They, Cat attacked someone that I was really hoping to convert, and it's like, damn it, okay, so what else can I do? So the solo variant does a really good job of making it kind of feel like you're playing against another player. Not in terms of how it plays, really, but in the interaction between you two, which once again is very minimal. So I very much like that. It'll still go to places, it'll places people. You don't have to worry about the different colors, so it's just so smooth. You draw a card and you're like, oh, okay, well, that one's a little bit, okay. There we go. Oh, he's going to fortify. Okay, well, he takes his two people, and he fortifies. Okay, well, you check where his influence is, just like you would. You don't have to worry about provisions. It doesn't pay cost for anything. And so it's like, okay, well, I'll draw this. Oh, okay, so he gains a strength, and he gains a guy. And it doesn't matter what color, he just uses people. I think that is brilliant. And so here's the thing. What I was worried about initially playing against him. He gets inherently more workers. He always gets the current round plus 3. So by the end of the game, he has 10 workers. And at first I was like, well, that's not fair. What the hell? I start out with 6 at every round. Potentially max of 9 if I keep 3 people over. So it's like, okay, well, how is that fair? I gotta say, I am very, very surprised at how well that felt balanced, because there were times, that he was going, and it's like, okay, well, yeah, he just keeps going, he keeps doing that, he keeps placing on there. But if you play well enough, then you can counteract that. Because what's also great is you will always go first. So, for example, there's this card out here, and I utilize this all the time. there's this card that you place a worker, you get two wilds, two criminals. Once that card came out, that's the first thing I always went to because you leverage the crappy worker. So if I had a white, I always put a white out there to get two wilds and to get more money, because you have to do that. If you're not trying to aim to get more workers, then he will kind of steamroll you in just sheer points. So I really like how that worked out. Even though, like I said, I thought it was going to be a massacre because he always had more workers. Because it's a worker placement game, so if you have more workers, you essentially do more. But what's also interesting is he only has a certain number of actions. Now, he has this deck that he goes off of. Let's see. I'm okay. So, what's also amazing about this deck is, and I think that's also what's balanced, is he has so many workers at the beginning, but he doesn't get to choose what to do with them. He just goes off this deck, which I thought was also going to be wonky, or like it was either going to be too easy or too hard. But over time, there are these King's Order cards. There are 3 of them that get put in. And then there's these King's Favor cards that I'm taking out right now. So the King's Order cards get put into the deck. Well, actually, that's what initially sets up your difficulty. You draw 3 of the King's Order cards, and then those in a standard game, and those are the 3 that start off with making things cheaper. Then you shuffle the 6, put out the 3, and then you put these King's Order cards on top of the deck. So his whole deck has a Convert, Commission, Recruit, Absolve, Pray, Attack, Fortify, Garrison, and Conspire. So it has 1 for each of these actions. And at the beginning of the game, he'll get a King's Order. So it's really neat because when he shuffles these, there's no rest action. So over time, if he does a Commission action, sure, he places his workers at that spot. Then, like if he were to do that again, then he immediately defaults to this order of actions, and I think that that's brilliant. It felt so like it felt so intelligent, and in that it worked because, like, oh well, he can't commission again, so he'll recruit, because if he were to commission again, which by the way would be when you draw a King's Order, he goes from right to left because he wants to complete those as well, and he always wants to do the hardest one first, the one that gives you the most points. So if the furthest one at that point is another commission, well, he can't do it, so then he defaults to that track. Which is awesome, because if he recruits, then he just, oh, well, where is he on this track? Oh, he's on the first one? Okay, he gets rid of that guy. And then if it works so well. Like, I'm so surprised. And the other thing that I thought was going to be broken was the pray action. Because when you pray as a player, you get to pick one area, and that's it, and you clear it off, and you have to pay for it. When he prays, he doesn't have to pay, and he clears out his whole right side of the board. And he reshuffles his deck, so that's what keeps the deck fresh. Like, you can kind of look at his discard pile and be like, okay, so he's already absolved, and he's already converted. Okay, he hasn't attacked. Do I want to risk it? And like wait till I attack, and then you make that decision. But then if he prays, by the way, he kind of focuses on getting rid of someone, resolving a debt, and then praying whenever he's placing his garrisons or his commissions. Then that shuffles the deck, and then that's what puts the King's Order cards in. That's what puts in the King's Favor. So this deck actually worked out really, really well. I don't know. I just gotta say that he doesn't collect, like, and the player aid is actually really well done, the iconography on his player board. I'm very, very shocked at how well this was. And yeah, like he finished all his commissions. I didn't even touch that, but I finished all my things here. And what's also intriguing is whenever he converts, so you can strategically decide who to convert based off of your influence and who you get to play. Like, you having your Paladin cards is also what levies playing against him, because he doesn't get the bonus. He can only do what his tracks are, but that's why each resource he would gain increases the lowest one. So, like, there's a spread. He actually ended up getting more points off his banners than I did, and I got up my strength all the way to 20. So I got 31 points because I got my faith up to 1, and he got, what was it, 33. Or, yeah, 33. So he got 2 more points than I did. So that was balance as well, because I got to strategically decide what to do, when to do it, and aim to push a certain thing where he's most likely going to be more rounded out. Now, what's also intriguing is, like I said, the converting. That's also what makes this game more balanced, is because, like I said, you get to choose when you get to convert. So it's like, okay, well, that person gives me a point for every whatever guild that is, the yellow guild. Okay, so I'm gonna recruit him, and I'm gonna choose the guy that lets me convert for free, and then I'm gonna start attacking those people. Or I'm gonna get the lookout. Like the very first thing I did was the lookout, so I'm gonna convert that person, and then I'm gonna start building these towers, and then you get to choose who you recruit, because the excuse me. The solo player, he never recruits anyone. He just gets rid of them, and he gets the bonus for it. If it's money, he doesn't take it. He puts it into his thing. If it's provisions, doesn't take it. If it's workers, he does take the workers. It's really good, and he always tries to deal with suspicion, and he'll still take stuff, and it's like, ooh, hey. Like I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 suspicion by the end of the game, and I had to work to deal with the debt that I was getting because it kept cycling through. He didn't acquire as much debt because I always had more suspicion, and he never did anything that would cause him to get debt. And since you always get to choose whenever the tavern cards come out, I love how there's always 2. You get to look at it and be like, okay, well, I don't want him to get suspicion because that means he'll get a debt, and he can most likely erase it before I can. So I'll take it, and I'll take the suspicion, and I'll work on getting the debt. And that's a strategy that you can even do in a multiplayer game, because debt cards cause you to, if you don't pay them, you get -3 points. If you do pay them, you get a point. So it's interesting because I'll spoil a little bit for the discussion for the multiplayer thing, is the way that they phrase the terminology for debt, suspicion, and inquisition are negative terms. And you're sitting there like, oh, I don't want that, because in any game you don't want debt, unless you can, if you can avoid it, you don't want it, because it's always bad. This game, no, you kind of, debt's not the end of the world. You can go for it because there's multiple ways to get rid of it. Same here. He has multiple ways to get rid of his debt. He has ways to get suspicion, which then would increase his track here, which would then increase his flags. I thought that was awesome as well. It was so balanced because every time that this rotates, it's the lowest flag that he has. So that goes up. So there's a stack that you actually have to manage. That's kind of the only thing you have to keep track of. And so with the debt and the suspicion, that's something that he can manage just as much as a player could. And I don't know, they did such a good job. I'm actually very surprised. And like I said, I actually like this better as a solo game. And there's not a whole lot of games that I can say that for. With all the other solo variants that I've played, they're really, really good, and I'll play the game as a solo game if I felt like it, but I still like it better with other people. This one, no, I think this one is vastly better than it with than other players. I'm trying to think of other things, because you don't change anything, which is also great. You don't have to change how you play at all, so you have whatever strategy you want it to be playing with this. I know some solo games where you have to do different things. Oh, well, you can't do this because it's the solo variant and that's what changes. Or locations change. Nope, nothing changes. Literally nothing changes. You have no upkeep. You just literally draw a card. Oh, he's fortifying. Okay, well, he did that. He places his 2. He draws a card. That gives him a strength. Move the strength up, and that's 2 people. Boom, he's done. It's that quick. then it's your turn, and you're like, okay, who do I have? And you're thinking, you're like, okay, well, I can do this and this and this and this, and okay, that's my turn. Oh, his turn again. Oh, he's going to convert. All right, well, oh, he can't convert, so he's just going to go over here, place a guy there, and he's going to recruit. He's going to get rid of that guy. Fantastic. Fantastic. Love it, love it, love it. So that, scale of 1 to 10. I'm going to give the solo variant a 9. I think the solo variant is fantastic for this game, and I should say that. So if you're watching other discussions, you're like, you gave this a 9 as well. All my ratings are based around, like, there's a lot of things that go into it. Mainly, how well it fits the game. I can't think of any negatives about this. Let's see. No, like, normally what would bug me, the fact that he doesn't have to pay for anything. He doesn't have to, like, so for his provisions, his converting, none of that, he doesn't have to pay for any of that. It didn't bug me, and I don't know why. Like, it just didn't, and mainly because I was still able to do everything that I needed to do, and it worked out well. So, yeah, I think the solo variant is a 9 out of 10 for this game. So that's my thoughts on the solo variant for Paladins of the West Kingdom. Let me know what you think of the solo variant in the comments below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you. Hey everyone, thanks so much for watching this, and if you like this video, then click the subscribe button below to enjoy any video that I put out. And right next to that subscribe button is a little bell. Click that so you get notified of whenever I actually upload these videos. If you want to support the channel, you can definitely visit my Patreon page. The link is in the description below. Other than that, like, comment, share, and subscribe, and have a wonderful whatever time of day it is for you.